Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. I'm always excited to introduce the Terran player in the blue. In the bottom right, the Admiral. It's GuMiho, formerly known as the last mech Terran. But not the last one anymore, as his strategies have become so popular. Well, in fact, an upcoming balance patch might make them even more so. Currently leading the charge in the Terran revolution, but standing against him, the most stalwart, steady, solid Protoss, nicknamed the Wall, GuMiho. Showtime, the German Protoss player. I'm very excited for these two. I think they're about evenly matched. They're ranked within a few of each other. I believe 10 and 12 at the moment. Don't quote me on that. In fact, don't quote me in general. But I think this could be one of the best, especially outside of your like Cyril versus Maru style matches. Once again, don't quote me on it, but you can quote me on this. Like, subscribe, Jimmy, what are we at? 1,115 likes, and I'll cast another series. And you know what? I'll probably do it anyways. I don't know what else I'd do with my life, but I'm excited. This match from the Masters Coliseum, brought to you by World Team. Honestly, like half of the good games for the fans brought to you by World Team League. If you get a chance, make sure to check them out. Awesome of them to send me the games. I'm looking forward to more. If you have recommendations, if you happen to catch it live, I'm happy to take them. But yeah, like I was saying, these two right now, Showtime kind of a stabilizing force for Protoss. Whereas GuMiho is one of the few Terran players willing to get particularly creative. You'll have Beyond, who just wills with his micro strategies into existence. You have Maru, who makes them look overpowered. Then you have Cure, who tempers that feeling somewhat. But GuMiho stands aside. Maybe ahead, maybe behind, maybe above, actually. Standing above. How is he doing that? Well, you'd have to ask him. But Battlecruisers, mech, Cyclones, any sort of composition. In fact, he pioneered the Battle Mech Hell Clone composition in Terran vs. Zerg. Of course, that was perfected again by other Terrans, but he is the one who charts a new course, and that's why he's the Admiral. A Hellion. Diving in, Showtime. Playing very defensive to start. GuMiho went for the double gas to kick things off. Just to be clear, this is not on the new proposed balance patch, so make sure to check out my video on it. I'll be casting some games on that soon, as well as showing them in general. So look forward to that if you do. Right? Robo on the way, 2 more gases. Oracle, Phoenixes. So the Stargate units have not been shown here. In fact, it looks like Showtime. It's not Showtime yet for those Stargate units, as he's kind of waiting for potentially a Widowmine drop, just making sure nothing can come in, whereas GuMiho is putting together quite a strong attack. He's got 2 Cyclones back at home, as well as Siege Tank. Siege Tank is on the way, but it's not part of this. Like, what is this? This is an advanced version of those early tactical pushes here. There is no Reaper wall from Showtime. 3 Reapers, 2 Cyclones, a Partridge, and a pit. No, 5 Marines. 5 Marines. So, yeah. Well, only a handful of gateway units. I don't know what GuMiho's expecting. If this was blank or oracles, then GuMiho could pretty easily deal with it. But the Phoenixes have yet to be revealed. A single Adept on the other side. Liberator looking for an opportunity. The Phoenixes are revealed. And the Liberator going to be heading in, trying to drag them out of position. This is still dangerous, even though Showtime on paper has the units to defend. Shield battery overcharge keeps that pylon intact, but in the main, the Liberator. The probes escape, but was it in time? 4 probes killed. And he drags the Phoenixes back towards the main alongside the Oracle, and that gives GuMiho a little bit more time to maneuver. Wow, a Siege Tank Cyclone. Overall, very creative, very interesting, and very ineffectual against the Protoss player who was clearly prepared for it. Showtime holds the line. Takes a little bit of damage to the Liberator, but he did kill the Liberator. And now he's got Phoenixes with plenty of energy. GuMiho has no way to match him at the moment. Those Phoenixes can easily shave off units that aren't well protected. There are no Widow Mines on the field. There are, of course, no Ghosts. There's really no opportunity to deal with the Phoenixes except unless the Marines are right next to the units they're trying to pick off. So Showtime's turn. As GuMiho's attack was thrown back across the map, routed before the Phoenixes. Oh, it was a tactical withdrawal. All right? Cool. Targets the Raven, trades a Phoenix for it. Ooh, if he loses 2, good scan from GuMiho. So he ends up losing 2 of them. The Oracle, some stasis, lock. Wow, what a perfect one. He spots the other one, makes sure that it doesn't block the command center. But Showtime as well. Deflected for now. Though getting the Raven is a big part of making sure his third base will be intact. They're both poking and prodding at each other, but these opening rounds in this jousting match, nobody able to land a major hit. Oh, the Phoenix, a little awkward there, just cancels it. SCV, can't believe it. Oh my god, I paused for a second. I shouldn't be alive. I've seen things. Oh, the Marines. Making sure that that orbital command is not hallucinated. It's not. Stimpack is done. But once again, without the Raven, there's not going to be an easy way to lock down the Colossi. So with the Colossi out, how many? Just 1 for now. Ooh. With the Colossi out, though, it becomes almost impossible for GuMiho to push until later on with either Vikings or nearly a maxed out army. 2 or 3 extended thermal lens. Well, he's got a lot of siege tanks. But the Phoenixes are still there. I think Showtime has built up his army in a way, and now it's nearly impossible for GuMiho to get anything done without a committed attack. Just tit for tat here, back and forth. But neither player taking critical damage, and neither willing to risk it either to butter the biscuit. So, exactly what I expected to see, but now we'll even out into that later game. Armory's done for GuMiho. Ghost Academy. In fact, I don't know how intentional this is. I think some of it is. But GuMiho kind of walling off his main in order to prevent charge slot run-bys, or when they warp in. And it's very likely at some point, if the game goes on long enough, there will be warp-ins in towards the main via the warp prism. So GuMiho kind of setting himself up to funnel the charge lots a little easier. Doing the same thing at the third. Ghosts on the way, but still quite a ways off. Not going to be able to soften up this army. The siege tanks, on the other hand, well, doesn't matter how hard the target is, they're still going to be doing a lot of damage. Any immortals underneath? 1 immortal in the mix there, underneath the Colossi. No disruptors yet, just a single robotics facility. I wouldn't be surprised to see an addition of either Robos or Stargates soon here. Only 8 gates as well. Showtime's about to be... He's passing the 70 probe count. He's got 4 bases. He needs to focus on shutting down GuMiho's near maxed out push. Here around 10 minutes. 2-2 ain't done yet. So Showtime, if he can deal with this, he can really ramp up that production. But if he deals with it well enough, he can just walk across and win the game. Siege tanks on location. Revelation gets the front end of them. Showtime knows what he's dealing with. 2-2 still not done. Siege Tank Canyon living up to its name yet again. Warping in around, getting a couple Archons. Not enough Ghosts to really negate most of the army yet. 1 or 2 with it. Showtime setting up something of a flank. Though Zealots missed their cartography lesson a bit. Wants to go around the back here. Looks like the Warp Prism headed towards the main. We'll see if that funnel ends up working. Showtime gonna try to keep GuMiho busy, both hitting his economy and dragging his attention away while all this is happening. Warp Prism, though, gonna be dealt with minimal warpins. Vikings will take it out. Charge lots funneled and destroyed, and now siege tank push from GuMiho continues to press the issue home. Showtime is backed up against the wall. But he's comfortable there. As he pushes forward, it's time to go. Disruptor on cooldown, but everything else lifts up the siege tanks, and there's not a good enough angle for GuMiho to gun down the Phoenixes in time. Showtime knocks down the siege tanks dead, and a disruptor shot forces the split back. Showtime lost a lot of his army here, but the key parts of the Terran were dismantled. An EMP. It's a little dangerous for Vikings. They were able to come from the War Prism in the main, or from defending against it, and now challenge the Colossi. Showtime overstayed his welcome outside his shield batteries, and now down to 2 Colossi. He's building 2 Raptors at a time as GuMiho escalates things. It's +2/+2 infantry weapons and armor up against just +2 weapons, not bothering with armor or shields. Shields likely to be stripped away, and once we get to the armor, well, things are already kind of desperate. It's mostly to get the extra damage for those Colossi, the Archons, the charge lots if they're able to close the distance. Relying on the high health pools of these units, Archons notwithstanding. Robo number 3 is being produced. Gateway count's still at 8. Showtime holds on to all his bases. So once again, we have a committed yet pragmatic attack out of GuMiho. Showtime defense. But GuMiho's attack did enough damage that Showtime can't just counterattack with deadly force. Not yet. So, again, almost an even trade. Fusion Core is on the way. Could it be ballistics? Battlecruisers? Beats? Bears? Battlecruiser Galactica? That joke. We'll see. But for now, only 1 reactored starport. Oh, two starports. Wait, does he have a reactor on the second one? Looks like he's going to go straight for the Liberators to start. But Battlecruisers are on the table, though an expensive choice at the buffet. A huge chunk of bio is going to be taken out here. I think GuMiho was trying to trade away some of his bio army, but I'm not sure I'd take this deal, as that is like 30-40 supply sliced to pieces. Showtime recalls, realizes the rest of the army. There's an observer in perfect position to deal with this. The recall was spotted. GuMiho doesn't know where the observer was, but I'm pretty sure he realizes it exists. That recall, if without vision, GuMiho easily could have killed that base, but Showtime knows the map is dark and full of Terrans. And when you don't have scan, it becomes a lot harder. You gotta be ahead of it. Oh no, not again! The disruptors are caught, but GuMiho almost doesn't get the target. One last follow-up salvo. Able to get the fadeaway shot. And gets enough of a chunk that maybe GuMiho will think twice about pursuing. No. Knocks down the Colossi. Disruptors retreating. Very tough to land the hits in this scenario. Still manages to get a couple, but Showtime, one step out of position, and he might not be taking any more. EMPs, shield battery overcharged, trying to help out. Disruptors through, Liberators sieging up, covering the retreat. Still the bio army intact. Vikings, really with no targets from this point. Will he land them to participate in the battle? Disruptors are cooling down as the battle continues to heat up. Disruptor shot. He has to pull the Zealots back. Liberator picking away at the Zealot count. Showtime backed up into a corner here. He loses the Nexus. Another one to the north. The Medevac's nearly out of energy at this stage. His advanced ballistics, it's already done. GuMiho very diligent on that fusion core. Showtime. Not dead, but this time I'd have to call it a decisive victory. As, we're using the author version, which is a little bit awkward to read. But 7,000, 3,000 killed by GuMiho. 4K, 1K by Showtime. 80% of the damage dealt by the Terran army. Showtime blindsided by the EMPs on the disruptors. And it makes them easy to pop like overripe tomatoes. Showtime does refill his army, but I've got my suspicions that the quality is not quite there. Yeah, it's almost entire. He's got 7 disruptors, but it's 10 stalkers, 18 zealots. He's building 3 colossi at a time. 7 disruptors is an incredibly dangerous number, but rarely deadly against a player who's expecting them, especially building this many advanced ballistics liberators. A doom drop has been spotted. Showtime has vision. It's only the few moments he doesn't that have been decisive here. +2 ship weapons on the way. A huge upgrade for Liberators. Allows them to 2-shot Stalkers. 1 shot after EMP. Another attack to the south. Hop in the Nexus. A Bio Army. There's only 4 medevacs out there. They're all to the north with the aborted Doom Drop. Showtime still keeping it together here. Loses another Nexus. 74 to 64 workers, but GuMiho doesn't need that many. He does have some mules. He's got 3-3 already done. He's adding more command centers. Showtime remembered he had a Stargate, so he can build a Phoenix to contest the Advanced Ballistics Liberator, which the Stalkers just cannot reach. Unfortunately, though, using the Nexus as a choke point, where are the rest of the Disruptors? The Bio Army is just closing the distance on the Colossi. The flank is a bit late here, though the Liberators will be taken out. Showtime, again, may be able to defend, but we're going to have to ask ourselves the eternal question. At what cost? The momentum continues to shift towards GuMiho. Another Bio Army is stutter-stepping its way into the 6 o'clock base. The Nexus itself might be able to be taken out. A recall onto it of 4 Stalkers. Oh, the Disruptors will fire at point blank, but the Marauders take out 2. The rest are cleaned up. Showtime clearly scrambling, but he scrambles better than anyone else. So far, still close enough on supply to be competitive. All he needs to do is win one of these fights decisively. He needs to land the Disruptor hits. He needs to catch the medevacs out of position. GuMiho has a bit of room for error here. He has the command centers to fall back on. Showtime needs to grab momentum back. Otherwise, GuMiho will be able to eventually overwhelm it. +2 ship weapons done. That little choke point at the 3rd. Well, that's supposed to work for Zealots, but I guess he's pre-split his units pretty well there. What am I trying to bow? Zealot gonna slice it up, but the Bio Army will get vengeance. He spotted the Observer there. Takes it out as well. At Showtime, they just keep winding up just like a boxing match here. Going back to the corner after each round and come out swinging. Each round more and more costly, though. Showtime on the ropes here. Even though the supplies are maxed out, it's momentum based. It's the fact that GuMiho has the command centers to fall back on. It's the army composition. Overall, GuMiho just has a little more headroom here in order to keep the momentum up. But now part of that is in the gas. You see 2,600 to 30 in the bank. Now the Colossi trying to force the issue, and this is what Showtime needs to do. He needs to keep him busy on the other side. He needs to keep him looking the other way so the Disruptor shots can land. Who's blanking who? A Venn diagram scan to catch the Observers. If he can keep them in the dark. Now we all know how scary dark is. Showtime catches some of the Bio Army. The Viking fleet comes back, intercepts the Colossi. They've already got a lot of damage done, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch the Vikings. Turning the Colossi like this is essentially giving them away. The Stalkers come up, but Vikings take down all 3 Colossi. Just gives up on the idea entirely. The Bio Army just tearing through the Stalkers. Absolutely no match. Easily depowered. Takes out the shield battery. And the rest of the shield battery is going to create an issue for Showtime and trying to fire off the Ruptors as well. GuMiho's Bio Ball is just rolling through, and the Vikings on the deck. Trying to figure out what he wants. Gonna just land on the probes there. Goes for the Nexus. More shots fired. Disruptors takes a connection, but the Stalkers are just not enough in order to contest the Bio Army. He needs the Ruptor shots, and he's just not finding them. There are no more Disruptors off cooldown. Showtime being whittled down here. And GuMiho looks like he's going to take game number one parting shot. One for the road. And now GuMiho getting a little fancy with it. Well, Showtime might clean up this army. I think that fight in the middle of the map, where Showtime got his disruptors caught by the EMPs in the bio army before he could fire them off, is where the momentum shifted solidly towards GuMiho, who's able to just maintain it. A pretty textbook, yet somewhat brutal game. Back and forth. GuMiho takes it, but it was not easy. Showtime just never able to retake the initiative. GuMiho playing so solid across the board there. I really like the dismantling of the siege tank push, but then he got caught by the Vikings. Oh, siege tank Viking, the classic composition, working out for GuMiho. Honestly, if you're ever gonna buff, not to editorialize, but if you were ever gonna buff a Terran unit, if you were gonna think about a Terran unit, just from an entertainment standpoint, not from a necessarily a balance or game design standpoint, boring, sad, no, don't worry about it. Siege tank or Viking, all right, both of them. Cool. In fact, the siege tank. You know what? You know how I'd buff the siege tank? Right? No, you can't buff. Give it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the Brood Lore cast, but give it the sound from Brood Lore. All right? It's not even. Don't change the stats. Okay. Just make it sound like it's from Brood Lore. An amazing siege tank siege up. It'll just sound more impressive. And then maybe Terran players will use it like 10% more or something. It'll be like when the Oracle was found that there was a bug that actually made it do more damage because it would change target and reset its attack. So it made it more effective at killing workers. And then that bug was fixed, which was a direct nerf to the Oracle. Pretty significant. So, and then eventually reverted. But because it took 5 years for people to figure that out, so at that point, it's a feature, as opposed to a bug. Keep listening, Bobby. Bobby, our beloved intern. But what was I saying? Oh, yes. And then after that, the Oracle became... It was already pretty popular, but it seemed like for 2 months afterwards, every single game was an Oracle opener. You might be like, that... It's still almost every game. Yes, but it was at a time when the Oracle wasn't like 75. It was like 40% of openers and shot up at least 80. With no changes, just people realizing, oh, it's actually even better than it was originally designed to be. Game 2. No proxy, no shenanigans, no cheese. At least none yet. There's your early game, slap a building down near their base sort of cheese. And then there's your more aged cheddar, which is something like a 2-base timing like GuMiho did last game. Like a DT rush, a Battlecruiser, all in, stuff like that. Something that is still, if you know it's coming, easy to count. That's the difference between cheese. I will not hear. You know what? This is my opinion, which of course makes it a fact. But a cheese is something that becomes, I'm gonna arbitrarily say, at least 65, 70, 69% less effective when it's scouted. Good example: DT rush. You know DTs are coming, especially if you have like 30 plus seconds to prepare. They're very unlikely to do much. Now, many all-ins can also, well, many cheeses can also be all-in. In fact, usually they are. But not all all-ins are cheese. For example, Terran versus Protoss, you have your 3 racks, stim, medevac timing. All right? You don't 100% know that's coming early on. Even if you do, though, as Protoss, or even if you go 5 racks, I guess, is the more all-in version. That doesn't take significantly away from the strength. It takes something away. If you know they're going for a 5-rack barracks timing. But that doesn't give you an over 50% better chance of defending it. I'd say 10, 20, 25% depending on who you are, depending on exactly what the openers were, but certainly not 60, 65, 69, none of that. Now, something like a Marauder first play, though, against... What am I watching? Oh, no. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Okay. Almost good I didn't commentate that one. It's okay, it's moderately embarrassing, but I think he either meant to chrono boost. He certainly didn't mean to recall. Showtime accidentally recalls his probes instead of whatever he meant to do, probably chrono boost more. Because he clicked it right on the Nexus is what happened. So, the Marauder so this was to deal with an early Stalker here. It failed. Whatever it was GuMiho was trying to accomplish, he did not succeed. As wandering up with the college admissions poster of Terran units, the Hellion, Reaper, Marauder, and Marine. He killed 3 probes. I guess he forced out the most embarrassing recall Showtime has made in this tournament, but past that, that was really the most damage. A lot more than the probe kills. Emotional damage, in that case. The Oracle's gonna try to burn through the clone. Gonna get it, but unfortunately a Viking will knock out the Oracle in turn. No. Robo Bay. Wow, already. Rushed out the Robo Bay behind the early Stargate. He made 2 Oracles and a Phoenix. The Artosalope might get Stasis Ward. Stasis Warded? Stasis. Yeah, warded. That's the right word. It just sounds like a term MOBA's made up, but it's a real word. Alright. I speak real words. Most goodly. Viking trying to sneak in, maybe pick off some probes here. Seems to be the intent, as unlikely that one Viking will do much against someone who almost certainly has Phoenixes. Banshee also looking for an opportunity. Viking hits the deck. Oh, oh my god. This sentries try to tickle it, successfully drive it away. I didn't realize there was literally no other anti-air. The Phoenix chased it down. I thought GuMiho would bring in the Banshee, but instead decides to join it up with the army. We'll see how the Stasis Wards do. Revelation. Oh, no! And gets out of that, and then he walks right into the Stasis. Somewhat hampering this attack. Oh, the Cloaked Banshee actually gives itself away here. A bit awkward. And, okay, Showtime. I'm sorry.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I needed to pause. Because, one, Showtime needs to mess with his hotkeys. I know this is a tense moment, but that looks so weird. What is going on there? Alright, well... One, obviously a misclick, but 2, how is the force field under the map? I've seen a lot of useless force fields, but Showtime is really over here. He's gonna get kicked out of Hogwarts with spellcasting like this. I don't... Well, here we are. Despite some awkward slips of the spell casting, overall Showtime is still in a pretty comfortable position. GuMiho's done almost nothing. He committed pretty hard to his early tech, and the bio follow-up is quite late. There's also enough Phoenixes to potentially zone out some of the Vikings. And by some of the Vikings, I mean the one Viking here. Cyclone comes in. There are 2 Colossi. No extended thermal. He's gonna try to jump the Colossus. And, oh my god, that was so close. Does he not have a shield battery overcharge? Oh my god, he didn't have energy. He did not have energy for the overcharge. These spells. Showtime. Ooh. Getting by the skin of his Colossus teeth, of which I don't think they have either one. But, you know, metaphorically. By the paint on his armor plating. And I mean, Colossi don't have a lot of armor anyway, so it doesn't really roll off the tongue. Not that Protoss would know anything about tongues without mouths. GuMiho pulls back though, yet again. We have another jousting match. Uses the hallucination to scout, draws out a Widowmine. Ooh, another mine, just barely missing. He's threading the needle that he doesn't even know exists right now. So the Widowmine's not able to land here. Let me get a couple of... Oh, the Ghost, EMP, knocks out the energy. Might actually kill one more. But the Vikings get one, looking for another. Knock two Phoenixes out of the sky. GuMiho. Well, he's got 1-1. Showtime quite late on the upgrades. He does have the double forge. The Viking count suffering quite dramatically. Still 3 Phoenixes on the field against 5 Vikings. Just slowing down the damage against the Colossi can be a huge deal. How many Colossi? 4 Colossi! Okay, let me try that again. 4 Colossi. No, yes. Much better. Much better. That makes my thermal lancing so... Okay, stop. +1-1. Completing momentarily for Showtime. +2 just started for GuMiho, so not going to be able to capitalize on a significant upgrade advantage. Whoa! Target's down and knocks out the Oracle, which was on borrowed time for quite a while now. Blink on the way. War Prism waiting for its moment. Honestly, there's very little in the way of defense. Marines stimming in towards the third, trying to drag some of the units out of position. Gonna get several probes here. GuMiho 6, 7, 8, 9. But, oh my god, trapped in by the charge lots. Still kind of an awkward angle, but it's 9 of them. GuMiho doesn't really capitalize on this, but he does kill 9 probes for 7 Marine. Not too bad there. The Zealots will be heading out. With a vengeance, watching the probes be slaughtered as they file in one by one to fight the Marines. We've now got a fusion core on the way, but very likely to be another round of Liberators. Snipes. Well, you still can against those Zealots. What happened to the Prism? Where is that? Well, Widowmines. Chunks. Oh, watch out! Ooh. I found it. It's in the main. He went right by the turret. Oh, this is a good one. Getting a big warp in there. GuMiho trying to do some counter damage. Comes in with another hit squad of Marines. Actually going to target down a lot of the Zealots. The Zealots he needs to target are the ones in the main right now. Taking a lot of damage to the drop. Zealots are going to be cleaned up. Finally knocks down the Prism. Fusion core delayed. Zealots into the 4th. Showtime has re-grabbed the momentum. He now has the initiative. He has the supply lead. He has 4 bases to 3. And GuMiho can't make any more mistakes. He has no more bases left to trade anymore, and Showtime is all but won. Fusion core is not continuing to build. He doesn't even have any Liberators, so I don't know how much he can do. Well, you gotta be very careful with those Colossi coming down the cliff. Oh, just waggling at each other. Unfortunately, oh, he loses one immediately. Target fire. Another one down. Disruptor shot wards away the rest, but it's down to 2 Colossi. About to be 1. The Disruptors are too far behind. The Colossi tripping over each other, trying to come down the cliff like he's trying to jump in the elevator instead of just taking the goddamn stairs like everybody else. Oh my god. Those Colossi. Just unwieldy creatures. And again, Showtime may have bitten off a little bit more than he could chew, but this time around... GuMiho... Wait, did he lose that command center? Yes. Didn't even notice mid-fight, to be honest. But Showtime got the command center. And now GuMiho cannot make any more mistakes. He's gonna need to take near-perfect fights from here on out as Showtime's economy. Now 1,200 resource advantage. Most of that, well, minerals and gas. He's now got 5 Nexi, going on 6. And now looking to expand to like the 10 o'clock. What is that, 10, 15? Possession over there. Disruptor deals with the mines. Still way more disruptors behind. Double digits now. Chases him into the mineral line. Chunks 4 SCVs. Single Marine scouts another Nexus. GuMiho still has a ton of army supply here. Still a very dangerous proposition for Showtime to engage. The Liberators, though, not going to make things any easier. We have the Dark Shrine on the way. There's 3 robos, a dozen gateways right now. Showtime has pretty much all the production he needs to potentially close this out in this economy. He just needs to fund the fight. The last Colossus. Ooh, survives a little bit longer. Disruptors shoving their way in. The most dangerous force field after that embarrassment earlier. EMP, but he can't close the distance to capitalize on it. He definitely clicked E to try to siege up his Liberators and EMP'd them instead, which has no effect, but, you know, seems to be happening a lot for both sides this game. Quite tense at the moment. Disruptor exchanges. GuMiho's still holding on. Very hard to break those advanced ballistics Liberators that the Bio Army is behind, and you can't really maneuver the Blink Stalkers. +2 ship weapons is done. Liberator shots. Overlapping Venn diagrams of freedom. Another Nexus. Well, finally getting some damage done. Not sure what happened here. Oh, a Liberator. Denying the mineral line. The Colossus and Zealots come back, but he needs Stalkers to deal with it. Fires off a salvo. Disruptor, center mass, gets a surprising amount, adjusts the shot, and connects with even more. In fact, gets almost all the bio there. Dealing with the Liberator, can go back to mining. DTs are now warped in. DT blink on the way, but the ghosts! There's no detection for the damn ghosts! And now suddenly the Terran army, the EMPs, he actually gets some snipes off on the DTs. And then the Cloak Ghosts will EMP as well. Well, still going to be a bit of a difficult proposition, but the Cloak Ghosts are able to escape. I believe there is a nuclear missile. Yep, indeed there is. There is a nuke in the units tab. Oh, a dangerous game. Showtime, having a tough time, but now got a little bit easier as he slams a Disruptor directly into some ghosts and gets some of the Marauders as well. Showtime maxed out. GuMiho, he lost 6 ghosts in the last. This battle has lasted about 2 minutes here. Another volley. No, just a single shot. Still finds a connection. That +3 armor helping out a lot against the Liberators. I'm not sure if it makes the difference. I'm pretty sure. Still, though, shoves GuMiho off of his 3rd base. The Ghost Academy itself potentially vulnerable. How many Disruptors? 9 Disruptors. 1 just got picked off. More probes dying. I have to assume there's a incredibly annoying to deal with. Showtime trying to just... He wants to close this out. He knows it's time to show he can do it, but... The Liberators, the Ghosts, the Bio Army, 1 misstep forward. If he loses the Disruptors, as long as he holds on to those Ruptors, he can deal with the core of the Bio Army. But if he loses them, well, that's when the game turns. Oh, no, 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 not again! No! Full salvo! But it's not a... No, not... Why? I'm so sorry, Showtime. I know, this is the future. But... Oh, no! It's a disaster. Still, Showtime has a lot of army on the field, but he lost so many, almost every single one. He's down to one. One with the army. The bio army is tearing through whatever it can. That last disruptor taken out before it could even get it shot off. There's not that much bio left over. The SCVs, we're going into a full-on base trade. I can't believe it's come to this. It's a disaster for Showtime. This is the only scenario that GuMiho maybe could have ground this back, getting the Ruptors and then throwing the game into chaos. Still, there are DTs on the field. Naxai and command centers dying on either side. The question at the end of the day will be, who has enough left over? I don't think this is one of those games where we're going to go back to our corners and rebuild. There's not going to be much left of the corners. How many ghosts are left? Ghosts can EMP for detection, but oh my god, the last orbitals are in flight. He can't scan. The DTs may save the day. The double Ds of destruction, disruptors and Dark Templar, and he desperately needs the Dark Templar. He lands an orbital. A scan. 1, 2, 3. How many left? 8. Still in the main. If Showtime wins. Oh my god. He was recalling. He lifted. I need to go back to that moment. He recalls to try to save this Nexus. GuMiho taps out. Knowing. Wow, I can't. Oh no. Oh. It was looking Showtime. It crumbles almost like a house of cards. Thankfully, GuMiho just didn't have enough detection to battle his way through, but oh no. That slipped so far. One. I can't believe it happened at exactly that moment. Right as I said it. Of course, it was clearly the only thing that could go wrong. But that perfect storm of disaster and lack of storm. Still, okay, he holds on though. There were enough DTs that he holds on. And with it, we go to game 3. All right. All tied up. Jimmy, please. Dragon scales. Yeah. Jumping in to game number 3 of this emotional roller coaster. GuMiho popping disruptors. Showtime barely holding on with the DTs. Well, it's anybody's guess in the final match. Honestly, I have no idea. It feels like GuMiho has been able to capitalize on the advantage more often. But overall, Showtime, like the disruptors land a lot more often against GuMiho than against your Beyonds or Marus. But GuMiho is, and this is not meant as a disparaging comment, but instead a compliment. He's one of the slowest in terms of APM Terran players out there. Usually averaging only around 300, compared to Maru, who's around 400 to 450. Or even Cure, who's around 350 to 375. This means, in order to be at this level, GuMiho has to work smarter and not harder. And I think that's where a lot of his creativity comes from. In fact, I think some of that lowered APM comes from the fact that he's been called the Towel Terran in the past. It's literal, as he plays with his mouse in like a towel. Why? He has a condition called hyperhidrosis, which makes him such a sweaty tryhard. A literally physically sweaty tryhard. His hands have a tendency to sweat so much that if he doesn't do that, it becomes almost impossible to control the mouse, which is kind of crazy. I wonder what mouse he has that stands up to that. But I also think that probably doesn't do a lot for your APM. So those actions have to be efficient in that case. And so far they have been. Oh, that was uncomfortably close. It looked like Showtime was a minute away from victory, and I guess he was. But he probably would have rather taken 2 if it would have kept it a little safer. Double shield battery start against the double gas from GuMiho. Did he scout? He did scout the base. He actually saw the mining of the gas. He didn't see the gas geysers, but got in, saw the mining. Which, you know, was good enough. Still getting the double shield battery. Because he knows GuMiho's expansion is going to be a little later. As long as you don't take critical damage early, you're probably going to be in an okay spot. Interesting. We're seeing more and more players commit to the double shield battery as well, I think. As partially a defense against the Reaper Hellion. Which, otherwise, Reaper Hellion Cyclone, sometimes you just need a shield battery. The only time you don't is when they have Widow Mines, which unfortunately, for Showtime, well, there are still 6 Marines in there. 1 Widow Mine, 6 Marines. Medevac looking for an opportunity. There are 2 Oracles. He may very well be able to burn through whatever comes out of that Medevac. If he's on point. He goes with the Oracle, but unfortunately the Widow Mine drops out first. Sacrifices a probe on the altar. We'll deal with it afterwards. He slapped a Revelation onto the Medevac. And the Phoenix will chase. But there should be enough Marines. This is one of those awkward, like, do you have enough energy to actually burn through? Viking on the way out. GuMiho gonna follow it up. He's got the Cyclone. So he's got some more Marines headed across. Another match that we're gonna start things early, though. I doubt Showtime is gonna die outright. If he makes a mistake, and it's very easy to make one against this unit composition, loses an Oracle, a Phoenix, maybe both, then it becomes a lot easier to follow this up later for GuMiho. Immortal. Just going straight for the Immortal. I don't even believe... Did not even make it an Observer. Trying to catch the Cyclone, but the Cyclone spotted him coming down the ramp. Alright, the double Oracle, double Phoenix. A lot of spell casting to do there. You know, I mean, we call them spells. I guess they're technically called abilities. But I think even though they're supposed to be all technology-based, it's still spell casting. 1, it takes less syllables. Even though syllables aren't exactly at a premium here, but... 2, I think it gets the point across, even if it's not technically correct. Projecting their abilities onto the... it's just spellcast. Alright. In fact, Protoss are essentially just space wizards, right? Plant-based space wizards. So, close enough. What about the Terrans? I don't know. Just regular wizards. I think. The Ghost? Well, they use wizard technology, right? The psi energy. Not important. Why am I don't have to justify my usage of the term spellcasting, but it did fill some time, didn't it? Like and subscribe for more time to be filled. But speaking of time, Showtime with extended thermal lance. Twilight Council already got a Colossus on the way as GuMiho decided against a follow-up attack, instead getting his 3rd base on location, adding on more racks. Spinning up that production for the mid-game. Whereas, Twilight Council, still a lot in the mail for Showtime. Oh my god, the Artosalo bait. Double Cyclone already frozen here. Which will delay the push. Combat shield. No combat shield. Oh, drags out the stasis. Without combat shield, it's a very... even 1 Colossus is a dangerous proposition. Charge begins. Another great usage of those stasis. I think this one's gonna work too. Does he? Ah! He noticed. Just like an observer, there's the little glimmer. If you're looking for it, and I think by the second or third stasis, you're looking pretty closely. Extended thermal lance, about to complete. GuMiho staying on the map, because we've seen what happens when you move out a little too early with the Colossi. Showtime forced to be bottled up here. But once he gets charge... What? That is an incredibly quick fusion. Fusion core? Is he rushing advanced ballistics? Or maybe rapid reignition or even probably not battlecruisers though, right? Like, okay, Showtime really stop right there, criminal scum. The criminal scum really had plenty of time to escape from it, but a scan. Oh my god, he eventually jams everyone into the medevacs. The Phoenixes are technically in position for this. That scan might be a giveaway, but it's already too late. As the Marines have unloaded, the Phoenixes are not going to be able to challenge this. One shield battery easily taken out. The main base, the bulwark here, actually set up well to defend. And there is no follow-up on the other side. Showtime moving his units into position to defend his fourth base, anticipating an attack that's not coming. Oh yeah. Advanced ballistics rush. Liberator range rush. I would call this a rush. I would call getting Liberator range before you finish your 1-1 infantry armor. Like, this is... He is shoving these Liberators into the composition. And they're... I mean, I do think they're pretty underutilized. If you remember, they were actually buffed in the patch at the beginning of the year. They cost 150, 125, down from 150, 150. You got a discount. They're on sale. 25 Vespene gas off. Buy today. And you get a fusion core for the upgrade. Battlecruisers path opened up. You got upward promotion capabilities. The Admiral knows all about that. And GuMiho. His advanced ballistics, not done, but the Liberator count is so damn high. He just annexes that base. Takes it out. There's nothing to challenge. That is like 4 Liberators. He doesn't even have blink. He rushed charge to try to deal with the ground arm, especially after that drop in the main. GuMiho has so many starport units. He does such a great job of bumping them out. He kept his... Because he wasn't fighting with his bio army, he was able to keep a solid core of bio together. And that allows him to follow up with the reactored starports while still having enough on the ground. Showtime played it maybe overly safe, and now has very little to deal with the Liberators. There's already 7 Liberators. Oh my. Whoa, do not cross those bridges. Disruptors might be able to zone out, but the toll will be too high. The bio army is actually jammed in. The zealots can't get much surface area there to slice their way through. Showtime. The other games felt like back and forth, but it feels like GuMiho has just gotten too many steps ahead with the advanced ballistics. Not even steps, he's flown ahead. Double-digit Liberators as he maxes out here. There are 19 Stalkers and 5 Phoenixes for anti-air. But an overlapping Olympic rings here as the Liberation Zones coat most of this base. Fires off a salvo of disruptors, but the bio army has plenty of space to maneuver. Whereas Showtime, the base is just gone. He's just fighting the Phoenixes. Like, oh my god. The Doom drop. He's not safe in his own main. Why not just pick up into the medevacs? What's left to be done? This is a devastating position for Showtime. The main base is being torn apart. The disruptors The probes themselves. Where's Showtime going? Is he gonna try to outmaneuver GuMiho in his own main? The disruptors again, signaling the beginning of the end, as they have in every game this series, but this time, yeah, last game, he was able to hold it together with the DTs, but there's no saving grace here. There's nothing. Like Showtime, oh, the probes, oh my god. Oh. The Liberator range is untenable here. Just that base will no longer be mine. The Liberators have claimed it. And now... No, Jimmy, stop! Well, got freedom. GuMiho may lose all his bases that aren't his main. I don't know, like, it's another crazy base trade here. But... yeah, ship weapons level 2. That's a huge upgrade. Oh my god. The SCVs. He force fields. In other news, there was still a sentry alive. Still getting a surprise. Oh, god, like, the planetary fortress getting a surprising amount done. The bio army. Showtime's about to run out of buildings. Oh no. It's a disaster. Like, actually straight up have no build. He re-expands to the top right corner here. Oh, the probes are on the run. He's at 93/0 supply. The orbital. Where are you going? Where are you going, orbital? This is the only way GuMiho... well, at this point, Showtime might have to fight for a draw. Liberation is at hand. 16 Liberators versus 13. 13 Stalkers, and technically a sentry, I guess. The Liberators are closing in. The Terran army. Liberation is at hand. Well, he's gonna try to rebuild the pylons. There will be one more fight, it seems, here. One more time. One more go. One more nuke in production. And, well, the Liberators, they have +2. Like, you can't repair those Stalkers. There's just not that many buildings left. Showtime. GuMiho's found the base. Oh my. 13 Liberators. He's only lost 3 this entire game. It's gonna be 4. But the bio army chases him down. It's not even remotely close to enough! GuMiho! The Liberation! Just tearing through Showtime. 2 close games, and then GuMiho's had enough. The quick fusion core rush. Again, GuMiho finds a new way to carve through his opponents. Showtime, a valiant defense. The wall held, but then the Liberators flew right over. A fun series, a solid one, but GuMiho, the decisive victor. Another fearsome and probably very hard to control for your average person strategy. Again, from the Admiral, leading his fleet to victory. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. If you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome if you could check out Patreon or I guess, YouTube membership. You made it this far. And like, and well, if you don't have the means, and liking and subscribing is still amazing. Jimmy, 1,115 for another series. And you got Cyril versus Mario again. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.
Hell, it's about